The fastest path to awakening. They don't want you to know. You probably don't even realize how close you already are. People think reaching their higher self is some mystical, faraway goal, something reserved for monks, gurus, or chosen ones meditating in the Himalayas for 20 years. But the truth is, the doorway to your higher self is right here, right now, and only 1% actually know how to walk through it. Fast. I've seen it. I've guided people into it, and I've done it myself. And once you learn how to access it, you'll realize it was never far. It was never outside you. It was you, beneath the noise, waiting to be remembered. Let me take you back. Years ago, I stood at the edge of a spiritual cliff. I had everything that was supposed to make me happy: success, recognition, even peace on the surface. But something deeper kept calling, a pressure in my chest, a soft voice in the silence, a sense that my current identity was just a shell. I ignored it at first. Most of us do. We drown it out with distractions, scrolling, achievements, relationships, busyness. But the call doesn't go away. It just gets louder, until one day I said yes. I said, show me who I really am. And that was the beginning, not of a gradual path, but of a catapult into the higher self.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lessons.
Here's what I discovered that changed everything. Your higher self isn't something you become, it's something you uncover. And the fastest way to uncover it is to remove anything that's not it. That sounds simple, but it's radical, because we spend our whole lives adding things. We add beliefs, labels, fears, expectations. We build a personality that's not actually ours. It's a survival mask. And we think the more we refine that mask, the more successful or spiritual we become. But the higher self doesn't live in the mask. It lives in the space underneath. That's why the moment you start releasing what you're not, your true self starts rising, not slowly, but instantly, like a beach ball that's been held underwater. The moment you let go, it pops up. So how do you do that? How do you let go that fast? You start by asking the most dangerous question a human can ask. Who am I without this? Without the job title? Without the trauma? Without the story of who you've been? You see, the higher self doesn't speak in language the way your ego does. It speaks in frequency, in knowing. It doesn't need to explain, it is. And when you enter that frequency, even for a moment, your entire nervous system reacts. You feel peace, but not the passive kind. It's an alive stillness, a joy that doesn't need a reason, a clarity that cuts through years of confusion in seconds. It's like remembering something you never learned, but always knew. I remember guiding someone through this in a session. They were stuck, anxious, feeling lost. I didn't tell them to heal more, journal more, or meditate more. I asked them one question. Can you sit with what's already here without trying to fix it? At first, their mind fought it. But then something broke open. They realized they were trying to reach their higher self by escaping their current self. But your higher self doesn't reject your humanness, it includes it. And the moment they stopped resisting the present moment, they became the higher self, instantly, and they wept. Because they saw it was never far. It was always here. The only thing in the way was the belief that it wasn't. Now I want to translate this into something practical for you, because this isn't just mystical poetry. This is high-level spiritual technology. The fastest way to access your higher self is to match its frequency. That means you stop trying to be someone you're not, and you start acting, speaking, and choosing from the version of you that already knows. Not the version trying to get there, but the version that's already there. Ask yourself, if I were my higher self right now, what would I do? What would I let go of? What would I no longer tolerate? What would I create? And then do it. Don't wait until you feel ready. The 1% who reach it fast are the ones who act as if they've already arrived. But let's go deeper. Because matching the frequency isn't just about action, it's about being. The higher self is not stressed. It doesn't hustle. It doesn't doubt its worth. It doesn't rush. It radiates. It receives. It responds. And when you slow down enough to feel your breath, to feel your breath, to feel your breath, to feel your intuition, you begin to enter that vibration. The problem is, most people are too busy trying to become the higher self instead of being it. That subtle shift in identity, from seeker to embodiment, is the key that unlocks everything. And you can make that shift right now, not in 5 years, not after another course, right now. Let me ask you something that might sting a little. What part of you is still addicted to the idea that it has to be hard? That you're not ready yet? That you have to earn your way to worthiness? That part of you is the very thing keeping you from the frequency you're trying to reach. Because the higher self doesn't strive. It doesn't prove. It doesn't wait. It simply is. And the moment you drop the need to become, the veil lifts. You don't ascend to your higher self, you remember it. And memory is instant. The only thing that makes it feel slow is your resistance. Now here's a secret most people will never tell you. Your higher self is already operating through you in tiny ways. That gut feeling you followed, that moment of compassion you showed, that creative idea that came from nowhere, that was it. That was you uncloaked. And the more you recognize those moments, the more they expand. Because what you acknowledge, you amplify. So instead of chasing your higher self like it's somewhere else, start affirming every moment it shows up. Celebrate it, speak it, anchor it, because the more you say, "That was me in my highest," the more that version becomes your default. This is why only 1% know how to do it this fast, because the rest are still looking outside themselves. They're still waiting for a method, a guru, a breakthrough. But the 1%, they know the method is awareness. The guru is within. And the breakthrough is not an event, it's a decision. A decision to stop identifying with the outdated version of themselves. A decision to stop waiting and start embodying. And once you make that decision, life responds. The field shifts. Opportunities change. People fall away. New ones appear. Not because you forced it, but because your frequency has changed so dramatically, the old world can no longer stay attached to you. So now I ask you, if you knew that your higher self was already here, already watching, already waiting for you to claim it, what would you do differently today? What would you stop pretending not to know? What would you stop delaying? Because the door is open. And it's not a door you walk through. It's a door you realize you're already standing inside. You're not trying to reach your higher self. You are your higher self. Every moment you choose presence over panic, truth over illusion, alignment over approval, you're remembering. And that's the real secret. The path isn't about becoming something else. It's about becoming fully you. The you beneath the conditioning. The you behind the fear. The you that doesn't need to be improved, only revealed. And when you get that, when that lands in your body, your vibration becomes undeniable. Your presence becomes magnetic. Your mind becomes clear. And your life, almost immediately, starts to reconfigure itself around the frequency of who you really are. The code of instant alignment. How to stay in your higher self no matter what. Staying in your higher self is not about being perfect. It's about being present. That's the first truth most people miss. They think staying in their higher frequency means never feeling anger, never doubting, never falling into fear. But your higher self doesn't reject emotions. It transcends them through awareness. The higher self doesn't panic when fear arises, it observes it. It doesn't get consumed by sadness, it holds it with compassion. So the key to staying in your higher self, no matter what, is not about avoiding the human experience. It's about becoming so conscious within it that nothing can pull you off your center for long. You become the eye of the storm, the still point in the chaos. And from that place, even the most painful experiences become portals to deeper truth. Let's talk about triggers, because that's where most people get knocked out of alignment. You're grounded, centered, feeling connected, and then someone says something, or something doesn't go your way, and bam, you're swallowed back into reactivity. But here's the code. Your triggers are not failures. They are signals. Every trigger is a doorway. It's the ego flaring up to defend an identity that your higher self is ready to dissolve. When something rattles you, instead of collapsing into it, pause. Ask, what identity is being threatened right now? Is it the one who always needs to be liked? The one who feels abandoned? The one who's afraid of not being enough? That moment of inquiry is alchemy. Because as soon as you observe the old identity, you're no longer in it. You're in the seat of the higher self, watching it. And that's where the power is. One of the fastest ways to stabilize the energy of your higher self is through radical choice. What do I mean by that? I mean, don't wait for your circumstances to shift before you decide to embody your highest frequency. Choose it in the middle of the discomfort. Choose it while your mind is spinning. Choose it when everything in your body wants to contract. That choice, in those exact moments, is how you build spiritual muscle. It's easy to be aligned when everything's going your way. But the 1% who stay in their higher self fast and consistently are the ones who choose alignment, especially when it's hard. They treat every challenge as training, every emotion as energy to be mastered, every setback as a subtle invitation to rise, again and again. Now here's a practice that will change your life if you do it daily. It's simple, but it's potent. Every morning, before you touch your phone, before you get out of bed, ask yourself, how would my higher self move through today? Visualize it. Feel it. Not just what you would do, but how you would be. How would your higher self speak to others? How would it handle stress? How would it walk into a room? How would it treat your body? And then live from that script, not as an act, but as a remembrance. Because the more you rehearse that version of yourself internally, the more it becomes your external reality. You begin to wire your nervous system to match your highest frequency. And soon, it's not something you visit, it's where you live. But let's go even deeper. Staying in your higher self isn't just about personal mastery. It's about energetic leadership. When you hold your alignment, you don't just elevate yourself, you elevate everyone around you. Your frequency becomes medicine. Your presence becomes a permission slip for others to rise. And this is where the journey becomes sacred. Because reaching your higher self is not the end goal. It's the beginning of your true service. The world doesn't need more perfect people. It needs more embodied light. People who can walk into heavy rooms and not shrink. People who can hold pain without losing their peace. People who can love without conditions, speak without ego, and lead without control. This is what you're here to become. And you're not waiting for it anymore, you're becoming it now. You are the portal. Why the world shifts the moment most people move through life believing the world is something outside them, something that happens to them. But the deeper you go into alignment with your higher self, the more you realize something radical, something almost unbelievable at first. The world doesn't change when circumstances shift. The world changes when you do. You are not a passive observer of reality. You are the projector. You are the portal. And the moment you shift your identity, your energy, your intention, the entire field around you begins to rearrange. People respond differently. Opportunities appear. Obstacles dissolve or reveal themselves as disguised blessings, because the world is not separate from you. It's reflective of you. And the moment you truly understand that, you stop trying to fix the external. You go straight to the source, you. This is not just spiritual poetry, it's quantum mechanics. At the subatomic level, particles don't even exist in a fixed state until they're observed. Observation collapses the wave into a particle. In other words, consciousness chooses reality. This is not philosophy. This is physics. And your higher self is the aspect of you that already knows how to observe from total clarity, not from lack or fear. That's why when you align with it, your perception changes instantaneously. And the moment perception changes, possibility expands. What once looked like a dead end now reveals a hidden door. What once felt overwhelming now becomes manageable, even meaningful. And the world, like a dream, begins to follow your inner signal instead of your outer struggle. I've seen this happen in real time. I've watched people carry years of heaviness, trauma, stuckness, and then in one moment of deep remembrance, everything unlocks. Not because the pain disappears, but because they stop identifying with the version of themselves who was powerless. They stop playing the old narrative. They stop negotiating with mediocrity. And the moment they do, life responds. Not slowly, immediately. Because consciousness is faster than time. It doesn't need a process. It needs permission. And when you give it that permission, when you say, I choose to live as my higher self now, even if I don't feel fully ready, you open a portal that your entire life rushes through. And the external world, which was always waiting for you to lead, finally starts catching up to your new signal. Here's a truth most people avoid because it's deeply confronting. Your life is a mirror, not of what you want, but of what you are. That's why wishing doesn't work. That's why visualizing while vibrating in fear doesn't work. You can't fake alignment, but you can choose it. And when you choose it, the mirror changes. So the question becomes, what is your life currently reflecting back to you? Not just the good parts. Look at the patterns, the delays, the conflicts. Every repeated situation is not a punishment. It's a reflection of an internal loop that's waiting to be broken. And the moment you stop trying to change the mirror and instead shift what's being projected, everything changes. Because the world can't help but respond to a being who has remembered their power. And this is the essence of mastery. Not control, not perfection, but alignment. And alignment is magnetic. It doesn't chase. It doesn't force. It attracts. Your higher self is not chasing anything. It's calling things in. Your job is not to hustle your way into worthiness. Your job is to become so aligned, so authentic, so aware that the things meant for you have no choice but to find you. And they will. They always do. Because frequency is not just a feeling, it's a command. And when you hold the frequency of your highest truth, reality obeys. The world bends to the energy of the one who knows who they are. So now I ask you once more, what if everything you've been waiting for is already waiting for you? What if the relationship, the purpose, the abundance, the clarity, what if all of it is sitting just beyond the veil of your current identity, your current fear, your current story? And what if the only thing separating you from it is a decision? Not a perfect life, not a healed past. Just a decision to remember who you really are. Because you are not broken. You are not behind. You are not lost. You are the portal. And when you shift, the world shifts too.